Hi, I'm back and welcome to the video. And basically, the playlist is going to be called God, Can You Hear Me? And right now, I'm going through the first part. Is called God, I Am Lost. And I've been going through it, and it's a little longer than I thought. So I'm going to make it two parts. So this will be the part two. So as I was saying, or to continue on, is that be in relationship with Him. So for many of us, believing followed understanding. So we heard the gospel message. Uh, we saw our own sinful side and lack of a way to save ourselves and understood the equation of Jesus taking our place on the cross. Only then did we say yes to the um, outrageous grace and mercy of the transaction. So we wanted Jesus to take the wheel and steer the train wreck of our lives so we could enjoy peace, abundant life, and love. So we weren't believers until we were. So with the simple yes, we arrived. So our job was to stay there to become more like Jesus and turn more certain of what we believe. So saying yes to Jesus all those years ago, like the disciples did, and telling them, so all those years that she said yes. Family, water filled dumpster. Okay, so she's talking about when she said yes to Jesus. So I know who he was and what he done for me. So it felt like going home. Uh, so my job is not to become more Christ-like and tell every poor soul I knew how brilliantly amazing he is. Nah, no, 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 no. No, no, no. All right. So we're going to imagine something for a second. So imagine you've got a really close friend and you hang out with them together. You go on vacations, borrow each other's stuff, and there isn't anything she doesn't know about you. She held you when you were. So basically, she held you in when you were sad, and you trusted her, loved her, believed in her, and you are and are sure it's mutual. But slowly over time, things change. So imagine you had a close friend that you hang out together. You would go on vacations. You would constantly be together. You would share your pain together. But things started to change over time. Your texts, your texts, your calls don't get answered. Your friend group shifts and they make you uncomfortable. She's not involved and distant. And on the rare occasion you get together, then there's enormous. Basically, there is nervousness in the room. Neither of you dare move. Basically, there's tension in the room. So, wouldn't you believe in your friend? Her goodness, trustfulness, and love begin to crumble. So, wouldn't all that belief that you had in your friend start to crumble away as soon as they don't answer your calls, they don't answer your texts, they make you feel uneasy, and there's a lot of tension every time, even though you thought your friend would never do that because you were close to them. So maybe you'd hurt that person and knowingly annoy her, or perhaps someone had a bad mouth you and they believed them. So hopefully that hasn't happened to you, but since you're but the chances are it feels like this with God. So that relationship is basically comparing how it can feel with God. So if we had an issue like with a friend, you'd get the same advice from your mom's or social media or whoever else. Go talk to her, hear her side of the story, tell her how hurt you are. Listen to how she feels about you. Forgive her. Your friendship is worth it. So there's no guarantee you'd get answers, but slowly you'd begin to rebuild your relationship inch by inch. So listen and are honest and heartfelt. So you might never find clarity, but you're rekindling intimacy and belief in one another. And wasn't that what we loved in the first place? So intimacy feels belief, belief feels intimacy. Oh, it's kind of cold. So distraught, defiant, and daring. So let's see. So talking about Job, how Job was devoted to God, wealthy beyond belief, and one of the most influential men all in the East, with a big family, cattle, good friends, and he enjoyed a pretty sweet life until God and Satan played chicken with his faith. The goal was simple: test Job's faithfulness to see if he was genuine, simple, a bonus of enjoying the good life, or even a way to keep God happy and ensure health and prosperity. So the stakes were high, and the players refusing to obey, leaving Job and his family unprotected. So that's Job 1. So an unbelievable string of disasters follows. Job's livestock, children, and all that end up. So in a single day before, Job himself is covered in painful sorrows, yet still Job worshipped God. So what if a disaster, so even if a unbelievable disaster or something happens in your life, are you the one that's still going to worship God, even if you're going through painful sorrows? So he even defends God to his wife and friends who assume Job's done nothing to deserve this suffering. And their understanding, things go wrong when you do something wrong. So let's see. Job was doing everything right when suddenly everything went wrong. So you could be doing everything right in your life, but you never know when things are going to go wrong. It just might happen. You can do everything right. You can get up in the morning right, and you're doing everything right, but you just don't know when things can go wrong. So most of us understand that hard things happen. So like I said, you can have a good day, you can get up and things can be going good, but you never know when the hard things are going to hit in your life. So what throws us into doubt and confusion is suffering. So doubt and confusion throws us into suffering. So when people suffer, that's when doubt and confusion happens. When we see family suffering, when we see friends suffering, that's when doubt and confusion starts to get into our mind. Because if God is so good, why is my friend or family or whatever, why are they suffering? Let's see. So then anxiety and depression comes in, and who believes the world? Stuff like that. Or let's see. Or the injustice of our pain is parable when we've tried our hardest to do everything right. And then we try to do everything right, and then that causes doubt and confusion, like when we do things right and nothing's happening, or employees and stuff like that. So we're left reeling, outraged, doubting, questioning, and tempted to walk away. So it is understandable, or It's understandable why you would want to walk away when you see so much suffering with your friend or family, and then you doubt, and then you question, and then you want to walk away from your faith or whatever you believe in. And then, like Job, ask God, or you could say, like Job, ask God, or maybe you ask God, or maybe I'll ask God. When that happens, is why? Why me? Why me? Why is this happening, or why is that happening to that person? So Job takes his questions straight to God. He refuses to take silence for an answer. He refuses to take cliches for an answer. He refuses to let God off the hook. So it's easy to hear Job's side of the conversation without the New Testament, which are familiar with the idea of God speaking to regular folks through his Spirit. But in Job's time, the Holy Spirit spoke to certain people at certain times to accomplish certain things. So access to God and answers from God came through priests, stuff like that, not the daily conversation Jesus has enabled it to be. So back in the day, access to God and the answers from God came through priests back in the day, but not like today where Jesus has enabled it to be in a different way. Let's see. In his pain, Job cut out the middle and went straight to God. Refusing to take answers from anyone else, he was unrelenting and passionate, daring and defiant. So on one hand, God's answer is deeply unsatisfying. So God says, "You're not me," and could never understand the complexity or great size and mystery of all I hold in the palm of my hand. So we want answers. So when we're going through pain, suffering, basically, what do you want when you are going through pain and suffering? What do you want God to do? Answers. You want God to answer you. So let's see. So when we dare to question God, He doesn't speak, or He doesn't. I'm not sure what that word is. He doesn't admonish us for being impotent, but invites us to hang together in the mystery. So we can worry that our faith is slipping away sometimes because of suffering and doubt. So God, by the actions of those who say they love Him, so basically we gotta follow like Job's lead and persistently and passionately go to God with our questions. Not bold enough to think God might whisk me off on a cosmic journey. I was pretty sure He'd showed up in other ways. So what we see in Job isn't a man who hung on his faith because he had his knowledge and spiritual need for certainty, but what we find is a broken man asking very human questions, a man humbled by the majesty, a man humbled by the majesty and simplicity of God and the confidence of who He is to him, a man willing to walk out the mystery of faith in conversations with God. So if you constantly try to wrestle our doubts into submission, we have to ask ourselves where this rodeo wrangler is taking us in circles. So if we want to doubt, or if we want to wrestle doubt into submission, we're just like a rodeo and all we're doing is going in circles. Remember, if you want to Wrestle your doubts into submission. All you're doing is going in circles. Away from God, to bed at the side of the door, unnoticed, singing in a bit of everything. Whenever it's going, it's exhausting. Aren't you tired? So Jesus offers an invitation to the poor, to the weary. Come to me in Matthew 11, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28, Jesus says, "Come to me, all who are poor, weary, I'll give you rest." It's the same invitation at the heart of Job's story, to come to God with it all. It would be willing to hold our concerns and questions and tensions with the mystery of God and simply rest in Him. So if we're accepted, we might never find certainty, but we will discover the kind of relationship with God we've been searching for all along. Let's see. Let's see. So that's a way to walk with Jesus through life, so it can become, the mystery of it can become clearer, more natural, and more comfortable. So we got to learn to talk with God and to bring Him everything. From the wonders into His creation to the ugly parts of the wrestling and even the unknowns and longings I didn't have words for. So I'd walk and talk to the trees, the skies, the wind, and confidence God was listening. So let's see. So it says, or God never speaks with such certainty that there's no room for doubt. So, and I'm sure anyone who's tried to understand His voice can relate, but He does give us a sense or a whisper, and we're better off listening than not. So sitting in the mystery became a new ground zero. So I'm just going to sit in the mystery of God so He can take all those doubts away. Let's see. How much more? Almost done. Almost. So reignite, reimagine, or whatever you need. So with our faith with our faith, it is easy to miss Jesus's invitation to come to Him and find rest for our souls. Yeah. So when we in the churches we visit spend more time and energy figuring God out and teaching about Him than meeting or talking with Him. Better. Let's talk about how our faith being entangled, how the Word became flesh, Jesus' death and resurrection united us with God and the Holy Spirit as our counselor and guide. Let's see. So we don't stop praying because we lose our faith. Or I don't stop praying because I lose my faith. Or we lose faith because we stop talking to God. Okay. So my faith doesn't get lost because I stop talking to God. My faith doesn't get lost because I stop praying. There, that's what I'm saying. My faith doesn't stop. My faith doesn't get lost because I stop praying. I will lose my faith because I stop talking to God. As soon as I stop talking to God, that's when I start not having faith, because I'm not talking to God on a daily basis. I'm just letting my doubts saying my mind and not replacing my faith how it should be, because I'm never talking to God how it should be. So our invitation from Jesus is simple: come to him, follow him, and learn from him. So let's see. No wonder the burden is light. There is no things to jump through, no boxes to check, no rules to follow, nothing heavy to carry around. So with a very different view of scriptures than the religious leaders of the day, Jesus was and is one of the outrageous grace. So he doesn't say his burden is light and his ways is easy because it's easily broken, but because he's the one who does the heavy lifting. Our job is simple: to respond, follow along, and learn from him as best we can. So we cannot guarantee that your faith will transform the moment and embrace this new way of thinking and sit in the mystery conversation with God, or that you embrace that doubt will feel so natural, wonder why you never did it before. But spiritual transformation and the work of shifting our mindset takes time. So does learning to chat with God in this new way as much as you like. So we must trust in slow work for God. All right, almost done here. So slowness and inactivity isn't. So some people don't like slowness and inactivity. Some people like to stay active and not slow. So basically, she's just saying that she likes to walk fast. She likes everything being active. She doesn't like to slow down. So let's see. So when you want change, do you want it now? Or if you want change, do you want change now? Let's see. So learning to sit in the mystery and talk with God doesn't just happen while we sit back and twiddle our thumbs. So a willingness for God to do his thing. So doubt is a verb, a doing word. So doubt is a verb, a doing word. So doubt is active. It invites motion, conversation, debate, and listening. So especially when we engage in conversations with one we're doubting. So if, as it's been said, holy envy is seeing God at work in faith, traditions of others, could holy doubt be the gift of seeing God at work in the wrestlings of our faith, even if you don't realize it? So this is the last thing here, and I'm done. So it says, so this is a part of every chapter, I guess it ends like this. So God, let me think about this for a minute. So would you like to RSVP? Yes, to Jesus, invitation to rest. RSVP, invitation to rest. Conversation in holy doubt. If so, let's make those doubts by getting rid of some of the rubbish we believe about our faith and doubts. So basically, she's just saying do an exercise, of course. So if you want to, basically, it just says grab 2 paper plates. On one, write my faith. On the other, my doubts. Place your faith and doubts plates as close together or as far away from each other as you imagine your faith and doubt to be in real life. So let them overlap as much or as little as you think they do. So perhaps there's separation on either side of the room. Maybe they're overlapping just slightly, or they might just be together and there's only a silver one or other poking out, or you decide. So imagine having 2 plates, faith and doubt, and you could place them however you want in your life. Maybe they're together, maybe they're separate, maybe they're overlapping. Let's see. So how far apart or close together they are. So surprises you. So did you know immediately where to place them, or did you have to think about it and move them a few times? So when you place that faith plate and that doubt plate, did you have to, did you just know where to place it right away, or did you have to think about where am I going to put faith and doubt in my life? So as you look at the circles, imagine you just giving them a nudge or pushing them gently in one direction or another, a gently invitation to be more honest with yourself and him. So how does he move them? How do you react? So imagine you get two plates, you say truth and faith, you put them down. Did you not think about where to put it, or did you take time? So imagine Jesus coming in and pushing them a little bit closer together or far apart or however. So if you were, how would you react? Let's see. So reassure yourself of Jesus' love, and that's he's not judging your faith or doubt. Then take a moment to sit with him in a space between our plates where they overlap and just together. No need to talk. His loving presence, when you're ready, respond to the invitation in your own words. And that's the end of that part. Yeah, so that's the end of that. And next time I probably won't make it 2 parts. It's just I didn't write everything down. But we'll see. But God is good all the time. And remember, be in the presence, loving presence of God. So this is probably, it seems like it's going to be, or this main theme, I would say, of this videos are going to be doubt for this one. Basically, it's probably going to talk about a lot of doubt and how do we overcome doubt in ways that we can do that. But that is it. And that has been God, Can You Hear Me Now? And the first part is going to be God, I Am Lost. And God's good all the time, and I'm out.